Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world.
I've been looking around for salvation. I've been looking around for the truth. All around me I see frustration, and I looked all over till I found you. I sit and listen to your stories, and you're telling me, please don't worry. It's a lot in this world you should know, and love in life is where you should go. If you're looking for somewhere to go, if you're looking for someone to know, if you're looking for someone to guide you, then love in life will guide you.
Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world, and welcome to tonight's live stream. Just a few quick notes. Patrick from Farmers Aid, recipient of the 19,000 Rand from the Loving Life auction last week, wrote that Ivan and Davy said that they are donating a half-ton of maize to Farmers Aid to help the starving in KwaZulu-Natal. So this is a huge shout out to Ivan and Davy. YouTube, the infamous YouTube, said Sunday it had barred Sky News Australia from uploading new content for 1 week, citing concerns about COVID-19 misinformation. They call it medical misinformation. I'm not even going there, guys. I'm not even going there. I think you know what I think about that. Yeah. Where's my mask? Yeah. Okay. Enough said. Okay. The move comes after a review of posts uploaded by the Rupert Murdoch-owned TV channel, which had a substantial online presence. A YouTube statement said, "We have clear and established COVID-19 medical misinformation policies to prevent the spread of COVID-19 misinformation that could cause real-world harm." With 1.86 million YouTube subscribers, the channel, which is owned by a subsidiary of Murdoch's News Corp, has a conservative following well beyond Australia, as we all know. Success in the Olympic Games is a good measure of the health of a country. It is interesting to note that the once unbeatable US Olympic team are now trailing China by a sizable margin. Okay, tonight's guest, Dr. Ivan Jardine, is a man with many talents. Let's start the evening off with the good doctor singing a song dedicated to ivermectin, and YouTube, snowflakes, moderators, whatever you call yourself, this is just a parody. It's called Ivy. Okay? Ivy shall be released. Here we go. He's got a great voice, by the way.
solutions are very clear. So let's shout it out from every place to every man who will hear. I see the light come shining from the west unto the east. Any day now, any way now, I shall be released. They say every man needs the protection. Say every man must fall. We see through the lies and deception, yeah. Everybody heeds this call. I see great hope arising from the greatest to the least. Any day now, any way now, I shall be released. Oh yeah. Standing together, standing proud, knowing things won't be the same. All day long I hear us cry so loud, yeah, for answers in these troubled days. I see justice uprising from the west coast to the east. Any day now, any way now, when Ivy is released. Any day now, any way now, Ivy must be released. Any day now, any way now, Ivy must be released.
Okay, there you have the good doctor singing. Tonight we'll be talking about Ivan's arrest by the South African Police Service for being out after curfew, even though he explained to the police that he was a doctor and had an emergency call-out. That wasn't enough to stop them putting him behind bars for 10 hours. Can you believe it? Let's get Ivan on. Here we go. I hope he hasn't had a blackout.
The person who you're trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please leave a message after the beep.
Hi, Ivan. This is Scott Live. Here we go. Hi, Ivan. Hi, Ivan. Let me try again, guys. Oh, come on. All right, let's just start again from the beginning. Hi, Ivan, can you hear me? I don't know what's going on here, guys. It's kind of won't let me cut off the... okay, let's try now. Hi, Ivan. Hi, Ivan. There you are. Can you hear me, Ivan? I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Ivan. We had this problem yesterday.
Okay.
Oh, there you
Hello,
are. Now I
can
hear
you hear
you.
me?
Now I hear you, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. How are you, Scott?
Excellent, thanks, Ivan. And yourself?
I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent.
Just
Can you...
keeping strong.
Yeah,
That's all I can
certainly.
do at the moment, right?
Can you move your camera down about a third? I've just lose
Okay.
that's much better. Yeah, just bit lower again. Move it down a little bit more.
Okay, there we go.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Now, I just played your Ivy song, and people were
Oh,
saying,
wow.
"Oh my gosh, a doctor who can sing." So I said, "Yeah, we hope."
Try my best.
I said we're probably going to get the good doctor on for a jamming session one of these nights soon.
I'd love to join you.
Okay, well, I'll speak to Marlena. We'll organize that. Now, okay, let's cut to the chase. How long have you been living in South Africa, Ivan?
I was born here. My grandparents came over from China in the 1914, I believe. My parents are born here, and I'm totally South African. I was born here in Germiston in the township.
Okay, wow. Can I just ask you to move your camera down a little bit more, because I'm still losing half your chin. Okay, that's it. There we got it. Now we got it. Okay, so you grew up in Germiston. That's in the East Rand, isn't it?
That's correct. I actually grew up in Benoni because I moved there when I was a little child in Benoni, in a township called Actonville.
Okay.
And I spent most of my childhood coming to Johannesburg to a Chinese school.
Right. And what got you involved in the medical profession?
My dad always wanted to do medicine, and unfortunately, my grandfather died when he was 12. So he came back from Hong Kong at that time, and his dream was to do medicine. And so, it was something that one of my choices when I left school. And if I didn't do medicine, I would have done music.
Right.
And at the moment, I'm just playing music by ear, and I just love my music. So it's not like the combination of the two.
Yeah, yeah. So you went into medicine, you became a doctor, and how long have you been practicing medicine for now?
I started practicing in the 90s as an ENT.
Okay, so over 30 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now, have you ever been arrested before for going out on an emergency call?
Nope, never, never.
Describe that evening, because you went out to go and help a family friend, didn't you, who was in an emergency situation?
Yeah, that's correct. My cousin lives about 50 minutes from where I live, and he was trying to get help, put up a drip on my aunt, and unfortunately there was no sister, no doctor available at the time. So by the time he called me, rushed out to my practice to get some IV fluids and some drip sets, and rushed over there to help put up the IV line to at least get her rehydrated. And unfortunately, by the time I finished, it was just after 9 o'clock, and I didn't have time to chat to my cousins because I had to rush back because of the curfew. And just around before 10 o'clock, close to my home, just around the corner, or just between Eastgate and Park Meadows, I was stopped by the police, and they stopped very close to me, and I was wondering in the dark on the bridge, could this be criminal elements, or could this be someone suspicious? And then I drove forward, and then the blue lights started flashing, and they parked right in front of me, and they came out and asked me what I was doing. No matter what I tried to explain to them, they wouldn't accept my explanations, and they proceeded to arrest me.
So, with the arrest, did they did one of them drive your car to the police station, or what actually happened?
Well, I was trying to phone, and I was trying to phone people who worked at the hospital where I worked,
Right.
and just answering the phone, they all identified who I was, and unfortunately, I didn't have a ID as a doctor at that time, but I was in my scrubs, and I was very close to the hospital and my offices where I worked. So I offered to take them to my office so I can show them all my credentials and everything, and but they wouldn't accept anything like that. So, they demanded a permit, which I did have the old one, and unfortunately that one didn't have my name on because it was an old permit. As I was phoning, he threatened to take me out of my car and physically arrest me. But
Wow.
anyway, he took my driver's license, and I followed him to the police station. So I drove my own car.
Okay. So you get to the police station. You've confirmed that you're a doctor. You've actually put on people from the hospital who've spoken to them. What happens next?
Well, he just proceeded to start filling in the forms, and even the manager of the hospital called him, and they wouldn't believe anything. I phoned my friends. I phoned, whoever I could. I thought at the time, because your mind races, because I didn't want to go to jail for something like this, and
Wow.
And everybody spoke, and they just wouldn't listen. And there was another chap there as well, and they summarily locked both of us up in the prison cell.
Wow. And so now you've been booked in. Couldn't people from the hospital actually come to that police station and say, "Hey, look, here are credentials. This guy is not, he's a bona fide doctor."
I guess they could have, but I don't know if they would have arrested them too. My very good friend Charlene and Rob Bender called the police station and asked them if they had a heater for us in the cell, because it was pretty cold that night.
Yeah.
And they said they don't have heaters for suspects. I mean, I was still a suspect at that time. And they said, sure, you can bring the blanket, but they would be summarily arrested for breaking the curfew law. So I don't know what happened to humanity in the police force,
Wow.
Because we're all frontline workers. We're all battling issues. They're battling crime, or they're supposed to battle crime, and we're battling the health issues on the front line.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, now you're in a cell and it's really cold. I mean, you obviously weren't prepared for a night in a cold cell when you got in your car. What was that night like? Tell us about your, the experience in the cell.
Well, I think fortunately I had quite a warm jacket on, but my legs and my knees my feet were pretty cold because it was cold in the cell. They had this second fellow as well, and they broke the curfew. The next thing, they had 3 gentlemen coming in. They were part of a community police forum, and they were investigating apparently something happening in Jewel Street, because a few days before they were people looting and going into the shops. They belonged to the community police forum, and they were helping the Cleveland police station apparently. And the 3 somebody got arrested as well. They had left their permit in the other car, and so there were 5 of us in prison. And then,
were you all white people, or were you? I'm sorry. Were you not black people? Were they people, minority group people?
Well, the first gentleman was a black. I believe he was a chiropractor.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure his reasons, because he kept that close to his chest. And then the other 3 were Indians. And then there were 2 other gentlemen later that came on. One was from Zambia and one was from Malawi.
And they all had the same issue with being out after lockdown, or after the parole.
Yeah, they all had their own kind of reasons.
Yeah.
Then we were 5, and when the 3 got taken out for questioning, because I got taken out for questioning after the first gentleman, took about an hour or so, over an hour, and And then when the other two came in, apparently he owned a restaurant in Sandton, and when he was cashing up, his car broke down, and he had to ask his friend or brother to come fetch him.
Yeah.
And he kept on trying to tell the policeman, look, will you send him home because it's not his fault. I got him here, and so I'll pay for both bails, but keep me here by all means, but send him home. And they wouldn't listen, you know.
Wow.
The first gentleman was diabetic, and he was trying to call out for his medication. And about 2-3 hours later, when I saw his eyes drooping, and I said to him, please, how can you do this to somebody like this here? Let him go out and get his medication because he's going to collapse.
Yeah.
And they just wouldn't listen. And apparently in their own language translated by him, said he could die. And he said, but I'm diabetic. He said, well, if you collapse, then I'll call the police. And after a while, then they let him out to his car to fetch his medication and something to eat. And then he started looking a lot better.
Wow. So this all happened in late July, didn't it? This is just a week or so ago.
Yeah, this is, and it was a Friday night. And it was already after 10 o'clock. So it was already after curfew hours. And I guess whoever tried to come to the police station, whether it's for bail or whatever it is, they can stand a chance of getting arrested as well.
Wow. Okay. And what was the condition of the cell like? Because I've heard some of them are filthy.
Well, it wasn't the best of places to be in. It was a 3 meter by 4 meter cell with a basin. And perhaps it was a good thing that the cell, the bars were facing, you can see the police and they could see us as well. And, I think thankfully they allowed me to use my phone, but they periodically took my phone away from me, saying that I did use the phone too much. But I did try to call, and then I had a lawyer call me, said, you have a right to speak to a lawyer, and the captain took my phone away. And then I was called for questioning. And by the time I came back, this lawyer was prepared to come out to bail me out. But then obviously it was too late. And after my questioning, they said the bail was set at 2,000 Rand. And I didn't have that amount of cash in there, so I had to sit. I was just resigned to the fact that I had to stay till the next morning. I sent messages to my friends and all that sort of thing. And by then, when I got my phone back, it was about already 2 o'clock, 2:30. And everybody was fast asleep by then.
Wow. So what we're really saying here is that if you get arrested after the curfew and they put you behind bars, you haven't got the bail, you're kind of stuck, because if you call someone over to bail you out, they're going to be arrested as well for being outside after the curfew.
Well, that's what I suspect. And I mean, even I did try to call somebody, they may have arrested them as well. So there was a chance that they would do that too, at the moment, because it didn't happen. We don't know what they would have done, but this is what I surmised would have happened.
Yeah.
And they said, look, if you got 2,000 Rand, we can let you out now, pay the bail, and you can go. So I didn't have the cash on me, so they didn't take a credit card. And I mean, they could identify me with my credit card. It had my name and my credential on there. They wouldn't accept that.
Jeez. So have you had to pay the fine, or are you going to court over this? What's the situation?
Well, one of my very good friends, Mark Maitland, came at about 7 o'clock. And they paid. Then they dropped the bail from 2,000 Rand to 1,000 Rand. And then about 7 o'clock had the bail, and then I was released. Subsequently, we had to go to court the following Monday. And the prosecutors and the magistrate decided they needed to have a court case on the 5th of August. And I don't see why, because technically, as doctors, we don't really need to have permits to travel hours.
So you've still got to go to court then on the 5th of August?
Well, at the moment, that's where it stands, yes.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And as I said, I told them, I said, you know what, if the situation arises again, I'm not going to scrounge around to see if I got a permit or not. I'll do the same thing again. So they're welcome to rearrest me. I don't care, because no government, no police can stop me from doing what I'm trained to do.
Yeah, well, you've taken the Hippocratic Oath. You've got to look after your patients.
Well, yeah, and the good thing was the several points that from this whole thing here. There's a good thing that I was coming back from an emergency and not towards an emergency.
If you'd been on your way to an emergency, what then?
then God knows what depends on what the emergency was, you know. Usually they call us for an airway problem, even though it doesn't happen that often, but
Yeah.
the person have an airway problem or something like that, some emergency, then God knows what would have happened if I was going towards an emergency and I was arrested like that.
Wow.
Second thing is they arrested me summarily because they wanted to protect me from getting COVID in my own car on my own. And then they locked me in a cell, a 3x4 cell, where the 5 of us, with no social distancing, no sanitizing in the prison.
It's just ridiculous.
Totally safe. You know,
Yeah.
and then when the 3 left, they paid the bail. Somehow they found money to pay their bail, so they left, and the other 2 guys came. Pardon me. So in a 4x3 cell, there were 4 of us. How do you keep social distancing there?
Well, I always say that the one thing for sure in the ANC government is that the L factor is missing, and that's the old logic factor, and clearly it's missing in the prison system as well.
Yeah, I mean, if they were going to prepare to arrest people for violating COVID lockdown or curfew rules, they should at least make sure that the prisons are COVID compliant.
Yeah.
And the next thing I would like to ask as well is, if I went out for one of the members of their family or Cyril Ramaphosa's family, would they have arrested me?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. 2 sets of rules.
Yeah.
Wow. So there's a bit of a postscript to this, isn't there, when it comes to the lady that you went to help? Because do you want to tell people what happened there?
Well, the lady actually was my aunt, and she hadn't been able to eat or drink for 2-3 days before that, so she was getting dehydrated. So I had to go and help because we couldn't get anyone else to help. And you know, whether I had a medical degree or not, a family member, if I could do something, a family member, emergency is emergency. We'll deal with the permit later. And sadly, she passed away last week.
Wow. Well, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're obviously someone who's got a tremendous amount of passion about the work that you do. I mean, that comes through. And, well, we will talk about your singing later. But tell us a bit more about you as Ivan. I mean, what is it that drives you today in the modern South Africa when you see everything that's going on right now?
Well, I maintain it's easy for us to see problems, and obviously there are serious problems in the country, but I'd like to be a solution seeker. So in my own way, I started the AIDS Army when AIDS was a pandemic at the time,
right? And
trying to encourage the youth not to behave in the way that the government was telling them to behave, just to use condoms and do what the hell they like.
Yeah.
Just because they tell you that it's okay to do it doesn't mean it's good for you. And I wanted them to focus on their dreams and envision what future they wanted for themselves. And then it evolved down to, eventually we started Mission I Am Possible. And that's when we started planting, encouraging people to plant their own veggie gardens. And to eat healthily, because at that time, obviously, a lot of people were treated for HIV, and it was found as well that a healthy diet, as with COVID now, a healthy diet will help you boost up your immune system.
Yeah.
And and we held a concert in prison as well, in Deep Grove Prison.
So you'd been to prison before then?
Well, yeah, I was a stripper at that time. I think if you saw my video, you can see what I'm saying. I had to go in and see what made them inmates and what made me out here. And I must say, I really thank God I had great parents.
Yeah,
and I think they were dealt a set of cards and they chose the wrong cards, and that's how I landed up there. And I must say, I worked with incredible parolees that the parole officers at the time introduced to us. And we trained a whole bunch of them with the hope that they can establish veggie gardens as the schools. And unfortunately, approaching every single government department who had funding for for veggie gardens, we never got 1 cent from the government departments, and so I almost landed myself in big trouble just trying to do that on my, pushing hard as well on my own there. I had some help with the Chinese Association and friends, very good friends, but it wasn't enough to get the ball rolling,
So you had to
And
let it
then
go.
I left Canada for in 2012.
Yeah.
Came back in 2017, and I'm really glad to be back because I want to make a difference again, and we're trying to restart this project that we were that I left off, and I managed to network with a group called Dare to Love, and maybe we can speak about that near the end of the interview because I'd like you to meet them as well.
Are they there?
Incredible people. I beg your pardon?
Are the group there with you
Yeah,
now?
it's a movement called Dare to Love.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
And to me, it's love in action and love in motion, and practical love to show that we can build a better South Africa. And I still have a lot of hope because despite what happened in KwaZulu-Natal, it's brought all the communities together to stand up and stand strong. And we're not going to accept all this destruction and burning down and looting and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about the insane curfew regulations that they've got in South Africa, because apparently after 10 p.m. or 9 p.m., whatever time it is, the COVID-19 starts looking out for people and infecting them. I don't know how that works, but apparently they're very, very smart. Now,
oh yes, it's a very intelligent virus. At 9 and 10 o'clock, it starts going roo, 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 roo. And then at 4 o'clock, it goes to withdraw back into the corner, and you say, it's crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. I think there's another reason behind that. It's called control. Now, okay, you mentioned that you're very involved with the trying to combat HIV and AIDS in South Africa. Now, how many people a day die of HIV and AIDS? Approximately.
Well, I don't know about the recent figures now. I've lost track of that because many are on ARVs, and it seems to be, pretty well controlled. So kind of even World AIDS Day is becoming another day kind of thing. It's no more an issue because of the ARVs that people have access to.
Okay, but
I mean, it's the same way now that we need ivermectin to be accessible to everyone for COVID.
Now, we've got to be very careful what we say here, Ivan, because we've got fat-fingered YouTube snowflakes hanging around. And
you're right.
Yeah,
you're
so
right.
I've got to be. I'm just warning you about that because we don't want to get a community strike for medical misinformation. Because we're on the main Loving Life channel right now, and we've just hit 105,000 subscribers, by the way, which is exciting. We hit 100,000 about 2 weeks ago, so we got 5,000 new ones in the last 2 weeks, which is great.
Congratulations,
thank you. So look, I just want to talk to you about AIDS because you're a doctor, and you have an interest, obviously, in people's health, etc. Now, have they got a vaccine to combat HIV/AIDS yet?
Not that I know of. Nope.
Okay. Now hang on. That's a bit strange because how long has HIV/AIDS been in the community now?
Well, about 30, 40 years.
40. So it's about 40 years. I think it was 1980 that I first heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what you're saying to us is that there is no vaccine to stop people getting HIV/AIDS.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, because it mutates all the time and it takes on the host's DNA material, so it's very hard to control it via a vaccine. Okay, sure.
But isn't that what the coronavirus is doing too? Isn't it mutating all the time as well?
Yes, it is, and there is apparently a spliced segment of HIV in this.
Yes, I heard about that.
The same coronavirus, yeah, and the thing is, I did an interview with Geert van den Bosch, and he said it's a wrong time to mass vaccinate everybody during a pandemic because you're going to bring out a lot of variants that are going to start attacking younger and younger people, and it's exactly what's happening now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, we'll drop that subject straight away again because we got snowflakes hovering around.
Oops, okay.
Okay. So okay, but look, I get what you're saying. And unfortunately, I'm just not going to go there. So
Okay.
I just want to make the point that HIV/AIDS has been out there for 40 years and there's no vaccine. Now, COVID-19 has been with us for 18 months. The vaccine is, well, you've got about 20 different companies out that have brought out a vaccine that is supposed to work, and apparently it's not. But again, I don't want to go there, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry, YouTube. I shouldn't have said that. I
understand
apologize.
exactly what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, I apologize, YouTube. But the point I'm trying to make is, isn't it interesting that HIV/AIDS, there's still not a vaccine for after 40 years? Even though it does mutate, well, so does, yeah, okay. Well, I find that very disturbing and at the same time very interesting. Now, let's get back to these curfew regulations. Okay, so what we're talking about here is, as you mentioned, the very smart virus that sort of only targets people after 10 p.m. and then stops at 5 a.m. in the morning. What other options should they be looking at in South Africa when it comes to preventing the spread of COVID-19?
Well, I think I just mentioned the IV point, and the IV is very, very important for me, for my research. And despite what the gainsayers and naysayers are saying, I think we should release IV for everybody. And,
yeah, I know.
I think
let's keep calling it Ivy, shall we? And
sure,
carry on. Okay, so it's Ivy. I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah.
There was a study that 800 healthcare workers took IV and 400 did not.
Yeah.
And none of the 800 got the C infection at the time.
That was in Argentina, wasn't it? In South America.
Pardon me? It was in South America, yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
I heard about
and that's what sold me. Now again with this new Delta variant, I think people can still get infection, but obviously then you have to have a multimodal approach to the whole thing, because it's not only one thing, but definitely IV helps a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I have to tell you that I'm on a course of vitamins, and I'm not going to say what they are because, again, I don't want to offend someone at YouTube. But that's my choice. Okay, let's discuss the effects of the COVID lockdown. You know, how is that affecting South Africa? You know, from your perspective.
I think it's totally devastating. And for me, it saddens me to see so many businesses that have invested so much time shutting down. I had some friends who started a restaurant in October 2019, and by March, April 2020, they had to close, and the business has never started again. And I'm not only the business owners, but the staff that they're employing. A lot of people are starting to get lost their jobs, and sadly, people are taking their lives as well, and depression and home domestic abuse, and the children effect on the children is just too devastating on the economy, on everybody's psychological well-being, and that alone can depress the immune system, and they'd be more susceptible to any infection as well. And I just feel we've got to find a way to kickstart the economy very, very fast. And, it probably was one of the trigger points of what happened a couple of weeks ago, starting in KZN, and then it got hijacked by political elements to really cause this huge devastation that that they started meting out to everybody.
Yeah. Look, I heard an audio tape with the Chief High Justice, Mugeng, talking.
Yes,
it actually came out yesterday. And he was suggesting that in August, which is the month we're in right now, they were going to arrest Julius Malema. This is what Chief Justice Mugeng said. And he says, when they arrest Julius Malema, there's going to be absolute anarchy in South Africa. This is what he said in this audio tape. I've got it here. I can play it, but it goes for 7 minutes. But what are your thoughts? What would happen if someone like Malema was arrested, because he's clearly
What?
inciting violence?
Oh yeah, I think he'll probably be right if he did get arrested, and only time will tell whether he will get arrested. But I think seeing what happened to Zuma, they may not arrest him because of the potential after effects of what happens if they do. But at the moment, only time will tell whether they will or not. But definitely, he has been inciting violence and racial tension. Absolutely.
So what we're saying, in effect, is that there are double standards when it comes to applying the law in South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rules for thee, but not for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, we just touched on the events in KwaZulu-Natal. Do you have family in KZN who've been impacted by this?
No, I don't. And I have dear colleagues that I met through the Ivy groups and retreating, and I really feel sorry for them because there were doctors who started their practice. They just kitted out their whole rooms. They just opened their practice, and the practice totally got gutted. And I just feel so bad for them that they have invested so much time and effort to start a practice, and now the practices are gone because they were totally indiscriminate what they burned. They just burnt everything down. It's just too sad to see what's happening.
Again, it's the old L factor missing in action, isn't it? The old logic factor. You burn something down, then you wonder why you can't get medical help. You know, it's just crazy.
And the thing is, they don't realize, well, it'll take years to rebuild those shopping malls. And in the meantime, all those businesses have lost their workers, the business have shut down. So the domino effect is that one of their family members could have been working for one of those companies that have shut down.
Yeah.
And I must say, it's been very, very heartening to see that taxis are standing up and saying, no, you're not going to burn these shopping malls any further.
Who would have thought?
And again, I have to say, the Dare to Love group sent over 100 tons of food so far down to KwaZulu-Natal from the thing.
Wow, that's a group that you're involved in, Dare to Love.
Yes,
Wow.
yeah, I'm so proud to be associated with them. Yes.
Yeah. So with what sort of food did they send out? Was it mainly maize meal and some basic
It was a whole
foods?
combination of vegetables and maize meal and a whole host of stuff. I physically wasn't able to. I would have loved to take the trip down as well with them, but because of the court case and what I was involved with now, I couldn't make it. But we went down to Senegal with another group last year.
Yeah.
And it's very sad to see the aftermath of them burning the farms down in Senegal. We took some, they needed everything, including dog food and even tissues and toilet rolls and water. And the one guy was in tears when he got a bit of cash and just an item of clothing at that time when we went down.
Yeah.
So I can imagine what's happening down in KwaZulu-Natal as well. It's totally devastating to the communities down there. And I felt for my colleagues, down in KwaZulu-Natal.
Yeah. Now, look, you were obviously an adult pre-1994.
Yes.
How have you seen South Africa change over the last 27 years?
I think, we got our freedom, and unfortunately, it didn't come along with the responsibilities that come along with the freedom. And I think there's no doubt things have got worse. But I think there's a good community here, and we want to bring hope to the nation, hope to South Africa.
Yeah.
That if we stand together, we can rebuild this beautiful country.
Absolutely. Tell us about
I still believe we can.
Yeah. Tell us about your organization, Dare to Love.
I think I'd like rather to have Daryl Hardy and Michelle Maynard come on the show to tell you about it.
Okay.
Because when I joined them, they've already been in action for about 8 years now,
Right.
And they were personally down in Senegal last year, and I'd rather them relate the story to you because I might not get some facts right now at this stage, you know.
All right.
But we've been going out to with the groups to honor the frontline workers, and they've been honoring and cheering on the staff because the nursing staff and the doctors have been working so hard, and everybody's under stress, even, you know, the medical staff, the nurses, and some of them have seen so many patients dying in front of their eyes. And for them, it's so stressful. And just in honoring them and saying thank you to them, some of them were in tears and praying for the staff and praying for the hospitals groups that we were in several places, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And funny enough, about 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago, we actually went to the same Bedfordview police station to honor them for their hard work. Because I don't believe all the police are bad. I believe there are a lot of good policemen around and women around, but there are those who abuse their authority, the way they treated me and the others in prison.
Well, we had another example of that with the Freedom Day protests, which took place a couple of weeks ago. In Pretoria, the Douglasdale police station, the brigadier there arrested 14 people for not wearing a mask when they were out protesting. And apparently with the protest, you have an option not to wear a mask. That's by law. But these 14...
Well, that's what the protest was all about, right?
yeah, exactly. But 14 people got arrested, and the manner in which they were arrested was disgusting. And of course, because it's on a weekend, you know, they were just stuck there for the whole weekend. It's just crazy. Yeah.
Well, that's worse than what I did. I mean, I managed to get out the next day, but yeah.
No, they were
it's totally insane.
Yeah. Look, it's a heavy hand of the law, and yet when it comes to looting and rioting, they're just missing 100%. In action.
100%. And that night, apparently, these three gentlemen from the CPF were investigating incidents of people were looting or looking at breaking in, and they got arrested. Yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
And I think one of them had a business helping fix up the police vehicles. It's crazy.
It's crazy, absolutely crazy. All right, do you want to get those two people on with Dare to Love?
I beg your pardon?
Are those people with you, the Dare to Love people?
No, at the moment, because they've been busy. I would like to maybe... I'll introduce you to them, and you can have the interview with them. You know,
another time. Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
gotcha. Okay. I thought they were in the same room with you.
Lots to say, and yes, I think once we can have unity in people from all races and all that, we can rebuild this country.
Yeah.
To what it's supposed to be. And so I believe in too.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I've got a question here from Charlotte Smith. She says, "Please ask the doctor if." Santon's police rules are different from other places, because Santon, I think she's talking about Santon, because Santon is the place where the rich people stay. Perhaps the police don't like rich people. Now, was it Santon where you were arrested?
No, I was in the eastern part of Johannesburg.
That's what I thought.
I was in Bedfordview police station.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well. Do you again? We did touch on this, where if you're kind of well connected, they'll let you go. But if you're not well connected, well then it's in the bin for you, isn't it?
Yeah. Sadly so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Look, it's such a difficult subject, because there's so much I want to talk to you about when it comes to the current case with COVID-19 and all these sort of things, but it's like a minefield. You know, you one word out of place and bang, your whole video is taken down. So one's got to be so careful. I was just saying.
Yeah, and that's not.
I was just saying that Sky News Australia, which is a huge YouTube platform, was actually given a community strike, and they're now locked up for a week. They can't put a video up for a week. That's a huge news platform.
I've never, I think to a certain extent, like contact tracing and all this sort of thing was quite similar to how they handle HIV. And eventually they released the ARVs to HIV patients.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing is going to be with Ivy as well. And
Yeah.
because I'm convinced if we had it more openly as prophylaxis within a month, I think we can almost go back to normal. All the schools can open up, the kids can go back to school, and there are other means as well to handle this. For example, I'm going to do a video. I still got to get it done on rinsing your nose, because as an ENT we treat sinus issues, we treat allergies. And one of the ways of controlling your allergies and treating the sinuses is to rinse your nose warm, saline, and steaming with eucalyptus oil.
Yeah.
Now, if the virus sits in the nose, but everybody encourages gargling and things like that, but not many people are promoting to rinse your nose with warm saline and steaming to at least flush out some of the virus out of there. At least your viral load will be less.
Yeah.
And your body will be easy to deal with all the other things, vitamins and all the other things that go along with treating COVID.
Yeah, but unfortunately on
And
Censorship City, we've just got to go with the line that these vaccines.
yes,
I
and
can't
also,
even use the word. I'm sorry, but anyway, yeah.
but also, you can nebulize with things like. Can I mention the names of stuff?
No, I'd rather you don't, because
Okay, we'll
I
do
just,
that later.
yeah,
Because there are other things you can nebulize with as well.
I have got lovinglifetv.com where we do live streams where we can talk about whatever we like. So we might do another live stream, but it won't be on the Loving Life YouTube channel, because it wouldn't last long. It's very, very sad. Now, okay, let's just do a full circle. We started off talking about your arrest just a couple of weeks ago for being out after the curfew or at the wrong time, and the heavy-handed manner in which you were dealt with by the police. Do you hear? I'd heard of another doctor who had the same thing happen after you. Did you hear about that?
Well, my colleague Sydney, working in the office around the corner from me, she has also been harassed. I don't think she's been locked up. The chiropractor, he's a doctor as well, I guess. But again, I can't speak for him because he's very. He just wanted to keep what he's involved with, private. So I respect that. I've heard of other doctors as well, and some nurses were arrested as well. So I'm speaking out now, not only for myself, but for all my colleagues, all the healthcare workers, all the doctors, all the nurses, all the people involved with treating patients. That we should be treated with some degree of respect, and we're all fighting for the health of the community, and we're there. And I mean, if anybody is aware of COVID, is us, because we have to treat COVID patients. We see COVID. I don't see COVID patients directly myself, but work with some of our physician friends and everything like that. But we are the ones who have to deal with the issue of COVID. So to arrest us like this is totally insane, especially putting us out from not being a risk of getting COVID into a cell where it's not COVID compliant. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and this third wave has been pretty dramatic, hasn't it? I mean, there've been a lot of people who got COVID.
Yeah, and sadly, it started targeting younger people as well, and it's not a great situation. But I think again, if they do change their minds on the eye, they should be able to flatten the whole thing, the curve dramatically, I believe.
Yeah, I might put you in touch with a doctor I know in the UK. His name's Philippe, and he actually uses IV as well, and he's had very great success with that.
I'm taking it myself too, prophylaxis.
Yeah. Alrighty. Now, Ivan, is there something you'd like to say to everybody who's watching the live stream? Is there something you'd like to say about Dare to Love, or your mission I Impossible, or is there something you'd like to talk about in wrapping up this live stream?
Okay. I think I'll wait for Dare to Love for Daryl and Michelle to say the bit, but I'm very honored to help them. What they did as well, they were helping with a Gardens for Life,
Yeah. Now, do you have a Facebook page or anything like that for people who want to get in contact with you?
I do have a Facebook page. I haven't been on for a long time because it takes me 4 hours to get off Facebook once I'm on Facebook, because I got to answer this person and that person. So I've taken a break from Facebook. I do have a Facebook page, but not on my projects. Yeah. I'm busy trying to set up my own website for the work that I do as an ENT surgeon.
Right.
And
okay. Now, what about an email address? Do you have an email address you're happy to share with people if they want to contact you?
Sure. It's IJ, my initials.
Yeah.
9988.
Okay, so IJ9988
at yahoo.com.
At yahoo.com. Let me just put that down here, and I'll put it in the IJ9988 at yahoo.com.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'll just put that in the description below this video so people can contact you.
So thank you very much.
Alrighty. Well, Ivan, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure chatting to you. And look, I'm looking forward to having you on a jamming session because you've got a great voice. And as I said, we played that song at the very start, and all about Ivy. And for people who want to go and listen to it, please go to the very start of this live stream and you'll hear it. And so I'll speak to Marlena to see if we can get you on a jamming session. And the Dare to Love, if you can just ask them to speak to Marlena, and we'll happily get them on.
I will.
In fact, we support quite a few charities here at Loving Life, and one of the charities we support was Farmers Aid South Africa, which is based in KwaZulu-Natal. Yes. And we raised 19,000 Rand for them just over a week ago. Yeah. And
that's amazing. You're doing a great job there, Scott. Doing wonderful work there.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
And through our network, we've also got 1/2 ton of maize going into KZN to help people who are starving.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And I think South Africa in general, we are a very caring nation.
Yeah.
A very open nation. When there's a crisis, people rise to the occasion like cream rises to the top. And it's just heartwarming, how generous and how open the people are to help people who are in need.
Absolutely. All right, Ivan. Lovely speaking to you, and I look forward to seeing you with a guitar next time. Or if maybe it's just backing music.
Look forward to that too. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, take care. And stay out of the way of the police, the South African Police Service.
We'll see after the 5th. I don't know what's going to happen before that.
Oh, look, I'm sure I'm sure you won't even have to go. It's crazy that they've even set up a tape for you.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thanks for having me, Scott. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Good day your side.
It's
Hey, mate.
It's nearly 5 o'clock in the morning here.
What? 5 in the morning?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! You really work hard, hey? Wow.
I get an early start in the mornings, but it's a labor of love. I love trying to help get the message out about what's going on in South Africa to people, because my heart is in South Africa. If it was a different government, I wouldn't be in Australia. I'd be back in South Africa, believe me. But
well, who knows? You might be back.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to the Western Cape seceding from the rest of South Africa. I think that's probably the best answer. And saying something like that.
I heard about that.
Sorry?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
I heard about that, the feeling that they want to do those, and we'll just have to see what develops with
absolutely.
in the next few months. I think it's going to be crucial.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Mm-hmm.
Take care, Ivan, and we'll catch up soon.
Yes,
Bye.
thank you. Bless you. Have a
Okay.
good night. Have a good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. All right. Bye for now.
Bye, Scott. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, guys, that was Ivan, and it was an absolute pleasure talking to the doctor. I'll leave the side chat open for a couple of minutes so that you can say your goodbyes, and thank you to the moderators for the great work that you do. And I hope you enjoyed that live stream. It just brings a human factor into what's going on in South Africa. I mean, can you imagine being a doctor, going out there to answer an emergency and landing up behind bars for 10 hours? Absolutely ridiculous. Alrighty, I'm going to leave it at that. Sorry, YouTube, we did mention a couple of naughty things. I apologize. Don't block this video. Alright, guys, take care. Bye for now.